The government shutdown is forcing governors to scramble to provide some of the services their residents typically receive from the federal government. In an exclusive interview this afternoon with NBC News, Illinois Governor J.B. Pritzker outlined the measures he is taking to help keep residents who rely on SNAP food benefits. And after the federal government has not been able to work that out, he said he would look for ways to use contingency funds to partially pay those benefits.
The $20 million that you set aside to help fund food banks statewide, do you know what happens
That's
with that
it.
now that it's half funded? Does that get added to the pot, so to speak? Or what can Illinoisans know, those who receive these benefits, about how much will be there for them this month?
SNAP is a 100% federally funded program. And so we're talking $90 million a week for Illinois is
That's
what
crazy.
Normally would be provided for
I was going to ask
SNAP.
you, how big of a Band-Aid is that?
$20 million isn't enough. It just isn't. And we don't have enough money. $360 million in a month. We don't have an extra $360 million. We're going to do everything that we can, though. And remember, the distribution points are very important, and those are the pantries. And they do such great work already. So what we're going to try to do is fund them to make sure that they've got enough money to provide mostly dry goods. They won't be able to do the slightly more expensive fresh goods that they often are distributing.
They'll be okay.
But at least we're going to keep people fed for as long as we possibly can. And look, if we run out, we'll have to obviously come back and figure out where we're going to find more money to support, because we can't let people starve. I mean, we have too many people in this state. 1.9 million people are getting SNAP benefits in a state of 13 million people. And we can't let them starve.
Well, let's say this. That's actually less than, what, 10%? 1.9 to 13 mil? Yeah, we're looking at about, what, 15%-ish? That being said, then again, you got to think in that an aspect that Donald Trump did say, and they did approve because they had to ask the judges how they wanted the money to be distributed. So they will be distributing about $4.5 billion. They do need total of $8 billion technically to fund everybody, the 43 million individuals in our state. But it seems like the Trump administration will be distributing at least 4.5 billion of those dollars. And I'm guessing they had $6 billion in total, but they're saving that extra 1.5 billion for national disasters and or emergency funds, as it was originally supposed to be used for. So in that aspect, they agreed on taking 4.5 billion of those dollars and distributing to I guess the most needy individuals. I would assume the disabled and the elderly first, and then the rest of the family. So there's effort being made there. And I will say this: now it's time for those Democratic states to hop in and start to use the spare funding that you're taxing your citizens with so much, and serve the rest. You know what I'm saying? The feds can't serve them all right now because the government shut down. So the money that they are getting, it at least is something better than nothing, right? But in the meantime, I will expect those governors to come out their pocket and feed those people, because he's saying per week, we only need a few weeks. We got the government that has enough money to feed about 2 to 3 weeks max. With the contingency fund from the Trump administration. So I would assume that if the feds can fund about 2 to 3 weeks, your state can at least, like he said, your state can at least fund another week or two. You know what I mean? So you don't have to fund the whole thing, because the same shit he's saying is the same stuff Trump is saying. Basically, we don't have the funds to basically pay for everybody, of course, right? So they're short too. So, and that's another thing, because J.B. Pritzker would go online and complain about the same thing that Trump is complaining about, but then he'll shame Trump for complaining about it. Trump said we don't have enough money to give. That's the contingency fund that we need for emergencies like floods, hurricanes and shit and stuff like that. National disasters, fires in L.A., hurricanes in Florida, tornadoes, floods, all that. We only have $6 billion of that. Now, the judges, the federal judges, I believe one of them was They said that they want him to share the funds, and they agreed on an amount of 4.5 billion, which left them about 1.5 billion left in case of emergency, and the rest would be distributed. Now that can only unite, and you need 8 billion. So I want you guys to put that in aspect that they need actually $8 billion to feed all 43 million Americans on SNAP benefits. Trump is willing to partially pay, and they are partially paying. Hey, you're doing as much as we can, man. It's better than nothing, I would say. And you got to be grateful for that, because some people will see like, well, he's not. I've read some comments today, and people are just, they're everywhere, man. They just not grateful for anything. You got to give them everything, or they don't want nothing, obviously, I guess. But it's time for those Democratic governors to step in and help their people out, including J.B. Pritzker, including Mayor Johnson in Chicago. It's time to come out and have those extra funds that you've been having on standby for reasons like this and help your people out. You've been taxing us. You've been taxing the public the whole time. It's time for you to take the money out the pocket of the taxpayers that you've been holding and use that for the taxpayers in the meantime, until the government opens back up, obviously, right? So we all need to work together at the end of the day to feed these people that need feeding. You know what I'm saying? Because we don't know who actually need the funds or who are finessing the government. In that case, you just got to feed them all. I will say that I believe the disabled and the elderly should be fed first. Not saying that the kids can't be fed, but they also have adults that, control them throughout the day. They go to school and feed and eat. But with the elderly people that are in retirement and they're not able-bodied to make their own money, then I see the problem. Disabled individuals too that don't have the wherewithal to go out and make a living for themselves, or even try to attempt to make money. Those are the people that we need to actually be funding first, and that's just my take on that. So lastly, that's all I wanted to add on this situation. I just wanted to add that J.B. Pritzker is basically saying what Trump was saying. You don't have enough money to fund it. You can't really bring the feds when the feds don't have the money either, and they're actually contributing partially as well. That being said, the most important part of this of all, it's the government. The government needs to be opened up. The government needs to be opened up, and everything needs to function smoothly, at least temporarily, while people can get their money and pay. This is something we should open up, make sure everybody get paid, including, we're worried about the SNAP benefits, but we didn't even consider the payment for the government workers that secure our borders, the one that protect Americans' lives. They're not getting paid either. So I would say that's actually a very high priority too. If anything, we should use the rest of the money to feed those government workers that they're obviously make enough money where they can't be on SNAP benefits, but at the same time, they're not getting paid because they're a government employee. So I want you guys to take an aspect that is a thing that is really going on around, and we're not the only ones starving here. The people that are actually government employees are actually starving as well. So put that in consideration when we are also worried about the kids and whoever else that needs the SNAP benefits. So that's all I got to say. Tell me what y'all think about this in the comments section, man. This is actually intriguing and interesting, because I think if we all came together, we can get the solution done. Honestly, that's the real truth about the situation. But if everybody wants to feud, then nothing gets done. Also, the government needs to definitely get open back up, because that's the only option to get everybody paid and then also get these kids fed. At the end of the day, it's your boy AngeloSavage. Tell me what y'all think about this in the comments section. Don't forget to like the video for the YouTube algorithm. Lastly, don't forget to subscribe. It's your boy Savage. Let's go.